All right, so we're back and we're talking about a question. It was a great question that DL1, shout out to DL1, asked. That's, what does an asset in the world of music look like and how you can build wealth using it? So, you know, we can go to the bottom and go to the basics of what's the difference between an asset and a liability. Liability is something that costs you money. Asset, something that makes you money, right? In the most basic understanding of it, we'll start there with that. And so I wrote down a few things that would help me sort of talk about this. And the first thing I said was passive income, fruitful connections, the equipment you have, money management, and being diversified in your skill set. So when we talk about passive income in music, that means that you either have royalties coming in, that's an asset because that's generating money. A YouTube channel that's monetized, that's another example of an asset. Or maybe you have a monetized TikTok channel, that's an asset. Or we could talk about passive income from online sales and streaming, though if you're on the independent level, you don't have a lot of streams, that can be a little tricky to count as a lot of money unless you're in a situation where you make a lot of streams, and that can change. So I don't want to sort of box that into just being low income. There are probably a lot of people out there, it don't necessarily have to be me, that are making a lot of money from that. So that's important right there. So fruitful connections is another thing. But yeah, just having just stuff that can generate your income. So creating a YouTube channel or gigging, all those are assets, which go into my next thing as far as what does an asset look like in the world of music and how you can build wealth, right? So we're talking about wealth building. I think I could talk about it from the perspective a little bit, which goes into fruitful connections. You got to have fruitful connections that yield results. There's a lot of people that know people. Unfortunately, a lot of people you can hire people to help you, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're your friend. They are a consultant. And in this world, you're going to have to get some consulting. Sometimes go beyond YouTube. It's very easy to just stay locked into YouTube and what people are saying on YouTube when there's a whole real world out there that is separate and operates a little differently and gets you different results than what you get on the internet. So having fruitful connections, people that help you and bring useful things to you or useful information to you, but then also they're willing to listen to you and you have something to share with them, and that could be a fruitful connection that yields results. So I think that fruitful connections, people that can help you out in the real world, people with track records. There are a lot of people out there who, you know, I don't have a word for it, but this is how some people are. Some people are, they set it up like they're trying to help you, right? And they set it up like they're doing you a favor, right? They watch your moves, they critique it, but they set it up like you should accept everything that they say at face value because, hey, they're trying to help you. That's not a fruitful connection, because whenever someone critiques you or has something to say about what you do, you want to check the receipts of that. Like, who are they, right? Because you never know where good information comes from, but more importantly, you never know what credible information comes from. A lot of people will have a lot of things to say about what you should do, but not too many people have proof of demonstrating what they do. Past experience is good, but it serves to have a certain limitation. A martial arts instructor can't show you how to punch just by telling you how to do it. They got to be able to demonstrate it, right? And there's more talk than demonstration. Everything I'm talking about in this video is something I actually do just from making beats. I've been demonstrating that for the last 54 days. The equipment you have can be another wealth building asset because you can use it to generate the material you need to do the jobs you need to do. You can use it to edit your videos, you can use it to mix your songs, you can use it to make your beats, which all can be later turned into forms of income. And if things work out the way that they're supposed to, they could turn into passive ways of income, or they could be turned into tools that help you help someone else. So the equipment you have can be a wealth building asset if used properly. I do know that sometimes this equipment can get expensive. It can stack up. It can be, whew, I get that, but it's not the end of the road. And to be honest, you don't really need the best equipment. What you need is a good work ethic, a good discipline to come back to this and not let life get in the way. So, you know, there are people who haven't done things in years, and, you know, everybody has that excuse. Life, you know, life be lifing. You got to be careful how much you let life you. Because if you let life view too much, you won't be doing anything. Years will go by, and the only thing you can pull from for your credibility is what you did in the past. And that's good. But again, you can have more credibility with a lot of people, in my opinion, if you have a way to demonstrate now what you're talking about. And a lot of people can't do that, at least not that I see. But I'm always willing to learn. But at the same time, great. I pay attention to what everybody's trying to say, but I'm also paying attention to what they're doing. There's a quote, and I can't remember it. I can't hear what you say, or I listen to what you say, but I see what you do. And if nothing is what you're doing or showing that you're doing nothing, it's like, what you doing? So money management is also an important asset for wealth building in music, in my opinion, because you gotta really know how to keep a written budget, or in this case, a zero balanced budget. I had to learn on my own what that is and how to use that and implement that in my life. My financial education growing up was, when you get your own money, you do what you want to do. That was the extent of my financial literacy, which unfortunately left me living paycheck to paycheck, not making good financial decisions, not taking the little I had and managing it and making it work to my best ability. So money management skills are important, because if you don't know where to direct your money, then you're not going to build wealth. It doesn't matter. All these stuff doesn't matter if you don't know where to distribute your income. Dave Ramsey says your best wealth building asset is your income. And so if you keep a written budget, or learn how to keep a zero balance written budget, it will help you if you stick to that. And I know it's hard and it hurts, because now you're delaying your gratification for certain things. And and it's tough because you can see the whole world really enjoying what they're enjoying. But a zero balance budget is very important to help you build wealth. And it's just diversifying your skills. So I think that it's good to be a music producer, but it's better to be a music producer and a video editor. A lot of multiple things, but it takes time to develop that craft. But if you become multi-faceted, as they say, you can really turn that into multiple streams of income by using different skills and being flexible. Always be willing to learn, but always be willing to demonstrate what you say, right? Always be willing to demonstrate what you say, because that will help you. It will help you build wealth using it. Using all this stuff will help you build wealth. But it does take money management skills too. If you don't get a lot of money, or if things are tight, that's even more reason to learn how to keep a balanced budget. If I were to prioritize any one of these things, I would prioritize money management. Money management is probably the most important thing to do first. Get that tight first, then go from there, right? Because when you eventually find that income from one of these things, or from something I didn't list, you want to know how to manage it, put it in its right place, or put it to use for what you're trying to do. So, I hope that helps. I hope that answers your questions. If anybody made it to this point, you got a question you want to ask me, where we can have another talk like this, I love to do that. I like to make content, make videos. So if anybody else has a good question that I would like to answer, I'll answer it, at my convenience and at my discretion, of course. All right. So with that being said, thanks for watching. You're watching the Dilio channel.